Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching RuPaul's Drag Race, Season 16, Episode 4.
Ooh.
RDR Live, maybe?
Yeah, it doesn't have a name on IMDb yet.
Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know what kind of energy spoiler show, we're going to go right into it. I'm a little gagged.
Yeah.
I even called it last week because I was like, Mirage was my early favorite, and my early favorite is almost always right out. And I was like, I don't know. I was pretty gagged.
I don't necessarily.
I don't agree at all.
Yeah, no, I don't really agree at all. What did I say? Mhi'ya? Mhi'ya's the one. Mhi'ya just seems so much more beaten down by the competition already.
Well, because I don't like piling on or being negative or stuff. So it's like, I've liked her, but she seems in her shell.
Yeah.
Very in her shell. And she's told us 2 or 3 times that she's the life of the party. And frankly, I believe that, but I don't, it is not translating.
But then is the party in the room with us?
And I don't think that Mirage's crimes suit the punishment. And I know that's not how we should be phrasing it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, so she kind of stumbled over her words once and then had the wrong era hair. And
okay, the hair thing I totally disagree with. I think I understand RuPaul's comments.
Well,
but
it's true.
It is true, but I more Michelle's approach, where it's I actually love the hair, even though it's not the same era as the dress. And RuPaul just could not see beyond it.
Well, and because the second thing, I couldn't agree more. What the second thing Ru said was, it was as you get further away from these eras, things start blending.
Yeah.
60 years from now, 2000's Y2K and 2020's Y2K are gonna be hard to distinguish for 20-year-olds.
Well, plus it even goes to the same thing as what people don't understand about the 90s is actually how brown it was.
Everything was.
Not everything was day-glow neon. It's
more the 80s, but yeah.
It was very brown and rooster themed.
In the 90s, everything that wasn't was teal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The RDR Live, so I watched it when they did it over the summer in All Stars 8, and it seems like I would love it because I am an SNL aficionado.
That's why you don't, because these are not sketch improv trained people.
There were 3 performances that were good.
Well, that part especially. So it's I don't think that anybody overtly embarrassed themselves in the whole thing, which is shocking.
I would actually no, but again, and I'm not here to pile on because I like her, and I'm on the record as liking her, but Geneva Carr, that wasn't even...
Lindsey Graham was not even in the arena.
No, it was a housewife.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe that, because I can't believe she didn't ask, and if she did, I can't believe nobody told her to put on a suit.
Yeah. Well, it's I think it was supposed to be Lindsey Graham, finally, well,
then it has to resemble Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
And in voice, in look, in cadence, somewhere it has to be identifiable.
You're telling me you can't put some product in that wig to slick it over like he has with his Dennis the Menace hair?
And I don't know, because I also watched Stephen Colbert, and Stephen Colbert does or not Stephen Colbert, I'm sorry. But Seth Meyers does this fantastic ongoing Lindsey Graham impression. And he's always he lives with his grandma, and he's always "Me, Ma, I told you not to bother me." You know what I mean? And it's I don't know. We were talking about the RDR. It just sort of, because I thought the opening sketch was terrible. The Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper.
Sure.
Mostly because, again, I was too hung up on the fact that they weren't being Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. And so
it was Candy Cohen and Branderson Cooper.
I still wanted them to be doing a version
I agree.
of those characters.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Mhi'ya Iman Page, or LePage. Yeah. And she's doing something. Now, granted, I do agree that there weren't peaks and valleys, and I kind of wish she had done the whole thing sitting down.
Oh,
that was because that killed me when they were on the ground, and then they cut to her and she was not in the frame.
Yeah,
and so that's I think people, especially with these, because this is a tall order, and I will give the queens that is a lot to demand of someone. You know, I don't think I could do it. And
no.
Like I said, I already referred to myself as an aficionado.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can do it. I can't do it. I would rather die than have to do a live show.
I think people confuse big with doing something.
Yeah.
And
it's better than, like, what would have been better is if they told her she was flat the whole time, or if you did too much the whole time. Like, you know, and I understand you want, like, a peak and valley, but, like, where are the valleys in that character? You know what I mean?
And actually, because you know who...
And I loved that the wig fell off, which was apparently an accident.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because I was going to say, you know who I think kind of turned it out this week was Megami. And we were a little bit hard on her last week. And I thought she was great, like, kind of across the board.
Yeah, she did do great, like, performance-wise. And
she didn't let Plain Jane eat her up.
Yeah. That was very funny. I'm still not, like, 100% sold, like, on her as a person.
She's very earnest.
And I can't do.
You don't have a stomach for that at all.
Not even a little.
It's like oil and water. And
it's been the roughest part of rewatching Dawson's Creek with Rachel, because James Van Der Beek is, like, in that show is my kryptonite.
I saw the when Joey Sings is coming up. And you know that you want to talk about kryptonite.
Rachel could not. She was like,
it's so bad. If you want to watch Rachel watch Joey sing on my own from Dawson's Creek, you can head on over to the Patreon.
Yeah.
So
she hated every second of it. She just said from the room across the hall.
Plain Jane did a good job. I need a little bit.
Yeah. Well, because to me, having not watched All Stars, to me, it also just was like, oh, so you just watched that Scarlett Johansson skit and just did that.
Or the Cecily Strong and Vanessa Bayer.
Sure.
We're not porn stars anymore.
I just like the marble columns.
And again, I understand that that's more of a me thing. Yeah. That's sort of a nitpicky that I imagine the average Drag Race viewer.
Of course, it doesn't have the same.
Yeah. But yeah. Who did I wrote down some notes? Let me see.
Well, I thought the Weekend Update.
Amanda and Dawn did really well together.
Yeah, pretty good.
Dawn, I like her a lot.
Me too.
She's playing 3D chess, I think.
I think she might be as well. But I actually think it might be 4D chess, because we can't totally tell if she's playing 3D chess because there's a veil over it.
This might be Dawn's world, and we're all living in it. So I wrote Plain Jane, and you're right, because I'm doing it now too. They're just calling her Plain. Is that weird to anyone else?
Okay, because to me it feels like a backhanded dig on her, because it's not. It's spelled Plane, which I understand. Although I don't really like. Is she a plane? Like, what is the character of?
About to blow a door.
Plane with an A-N-E, Jane? I don't get it. Regardless, I can't decide if because they kind of all think she's a bitch for continuing to read Amanda for kind of no reason, that they're just calling her Plane instead of Jane.
No, I think it's her first name. I think that's what it is. But
that I need us to be putting the emphasis somewhere else, or I need the rest of the story. I need the a mandatory meeting moment, because I'm not getting it.
Well, Mirage is gone, so
yeah.
And then we got a whole lot of plasma. We got a whole lot of plasma in this episode, and you were white knuckling it a little bit.
A little, yeah.
She came out the other side. I think pretty strong.
Well. Yeah, it was just the, like, Rachel Berry level dissertation about Barbara Streisand that, like, I was like, no.
But I also was just sort of like, I feel like, and I would agree, I'm like, you're the only person on this cast that even has a grasp.
Yeah, on Barbara Streisand.
Yeah. I don't know. And again, she was doing, like as far as actual acting the challenges, Plasma and Q were and Plain Jane and Megami to an extent, but Plasma and Q did characters. Yeah, they did fully fledged. Yeah, like and you're right. I mean, it was the microphone, the like thing, in and out of the microphone that
and
really
then the deep throating the microphone. It was good. It was very funny. Also, speaking of drag names, sorry, when I was talking to my friend Holly the other day, she said, because she's like a book editor, and she was talking to her boss, and she was like, and I just had to write down a little note in my notebook that said Phallus in Wonderland. And I was like, that would be amazing drag name.
Well, speaking of similar topic, a mandatory meeting is an OnlyFans editor?
Like writer?
Ghostwriter?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
First of all, amazing that that's a job.
Yeah.
Second of all, amazing that he is responding 99% to straight men who are trying to talk to women on OnlyFans. It's
all an illusion. It is all fake. I love it so much.
Obsessed.
And it just sort of, I was like, oh, you're like a Pandora's box, I think.
Yeah.
That was a real...
I wonder if I have to register for OnlyFans to look at their job postings. I'm curious. I'm curious now. It's not like I want to.
Is this a new phone sex? That's not a bad idea. Maybe did we just invent something? I think.
Okay, there's like no specifically job thing at the bottom. I'm gonna do some more research. I mean, it was fine. I feel like I'm gonna run out of things to say about the dresses because they're all Bob Mackie, but.
Well, because I said that in our watch along when they were like Night of 1,000 Shares, and I was like, "Oh, this one's actually going to be good."
And it was
the run. That's like, and you're right about like the mermaids. Like that's a little bit of a bummer, but I was like, so there's a section of music videos, but I was like, so many of Cher's most iconic looks are runways or album covers and stuff, and it was a little bit of an embarrassment of riches.
Well, that's the thing too. So to go back to like the fact that Mirage was the one that left. I do feel like the margin for error in this episode was so narrow. Like there was like nobody was demonstrably the worst one.
Okay, my personal opinion is if we were going off of performance, I think Geneva did worst. And if we're going off of look, I think Mhi'ya did worst.
Okay.
And so how Mirage is the one that went home,
sure.
I do not understand.
I mean, and again, I understand. I just also, like, I'm not sure, especially
and they tried, like, they really leaned into the her not knowing the words, but I didn't know that until I was told that. She was carrying it off well enough, I guess.
I sort of,
or was I shielding my eyes at that point?
As soon as Plasma was like, then I know, like right before she said, I was like, oh, I feel like her mouth is kind of off, but I didn't get it out before Plasma was like, her mouth's not moving the right way. That's a pretty big faux pas in the lip sync. And the other thing too is like, given her reaction to going home, I'm not sure she was ready for this.
She was fucking blindsided.
Sobbing.
Like
no shade. Feel your emotions. Do your emotions.
And I mean, she pulled herself together, but she had a panic attack.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing where it's like, if you are not prepared to go home, great. Like so many of the queens leave and just like say a quippy one-liner on their way out. And
but I think they see the writing on the wall. And I think she was going through the motions, but I disagree with this outcome.
I do, but again, I just think it's like the bottom was such a tight race that I kind of feel like no matter what, out of that trio, no matter who was actually lip syncing, it would have been kind of arbitrary regardless.
Sure. Two of them had already been in the bottom before, and I already explained how I felt. So.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
Our guest judge was the incomparable Sarah Michelle Gellar, looking amazing,
so beautiful,
doing amazing, on a tragic day.
Oh, Wolfpack!
The day of the cancellation of Wolfpack on Paramount Plus.
We are disappointed.
And if you don't know what Wolfpack was, it was a terrible show that was on.
It was medium at worst.
It was a show on Paramount Plus that we had a lot of fun with. Because you said in our watch along that in spite of the show's best efforts, I'm
captivated. I can't tell up from down, and yet I don't want to stop watching it. It's wild.
It was wild. It was out of pocket.
We did reactions and full episodes, right?
It's on the Patreon. You can go check them out. It was so weird. And if you know, her favorite show is Buffy and my favorite show is Teen Wolf. So it was a real sweet spot.
Yeah.
And I just thought it had the potential to be something better or more interesting. I just wanted to give it.
I wonder if the boy with all the face facial features is going to find something else to do. He had so much face.
And it just like the insult to injury is the full year to admit, I guess, or announce. I don't know. It's not a good night for me. And
well, it's also like Sarah Michelle Gellar just like cannot physically make a show go anymore, and I don't understand.
I don't know. And I also did want to give Mhi'ya kudos for that Cher impression.
Oh my God.
And the thing for me, it was so bad it was good.
It truly was.
Because Cher is such well-trodden territory.
All you have to do is go, oh.
And I was like, anyone who's ever seen a single minute of Will and Grace knows how to do a Cher impression. And the fact that she managed to do something I hadn't seen before and could have never predicted.
Well, and it sent RuPaul.
And the more she did it, the further away from it she got.
The more Kermit. Because Sarah Michelle Gellar was the one that was like, it's like Cher by way of Kermit. And then she just kept on doing more Kermit and less Cher.
So, I mean, I really have to give props there. But, yeah. So, Plasma won.
Yeah. She was gooped.
Yeah.
She did not see it coming.
As was Q. And I get
We're not there yet, but we're gonna get Jan if we're not careful.
Yeah, I really do. I get it. I get the whole like wanting the cookie, and I get the competition element and aspect of it. But you just can't treat it that way. I don't know. Like you
Well, the other thing too is like what you said partway through, where it was like at this point in the competition, you kind of just want to be safe. You don't want to peak too early. So it's like it's much better to be safe. And also she got to get out there and get her critiques, which was like the big problem with Jan, is that she kept on being just safe.
Here's the other thing with Q. She is operating on such a higher caliber.
Oh yeah.
That I feel like in a slight way she set herself up for failure, because it's like when everything you're producing is that good, how do you pick something to award?
Well,
the best.
The other thing too is I think like it happens to a lot of queens like her, I think you're focused so much on the competition that you don't understand that like that's almost not the point for you anymore.
Because she's giving an all-stars performance.
100%.
She's giving like a high-ranking queen back for her season of all-stars.
Yeah, where it's like she is gonna have a career after this regardless, and she is treating it like this is her shot, and it's like, no, honey, you're good.
You just have to be good.
Just coast, and then get a couple wins in like a couple of weeks, and you'll be solid.
So let's look at the red carpet or runway. Everything, every Cher all at once.
It was good.
Also, what, week 4 or week 3, I guess, of this bitch?
Yeah.
Just
turning out the look.
Yeah. Like, maybe I was, all love to Mirage, but maybe I was a little too ahead of myself. It's just such a good look.
It is. It's beautiful. The like tinsely hair.
This was really good. Because that's one of 3 Oscar looks I was anticipating.
Yeah.
And the thing, because I said it, I was like, Night of a Thousand Shares is going to just be Bob Mackie.
Bob Mackie only.
Which is also difficult because Bob Mackie is
so specific.
Well, it's like tacky and chintzy by way of couture, or couture by way of I don't know. And you got to have the balance right. And I thought that they did a great job. Again, this was my weak link.
It's not great. It doesn't match the thing that she was trying to do. Because it's like, what? She's wearing those cute little, like, ankle...
It's good.
It's not what it's supposed to be.
Is it... Who came out? Was it Plain Jane? Someone came out kind of doing this look a little bit better. This underwhelmed, too.
Yeah. Well, they're right. It's like you're cutting yourself off in the middle there.
I would, if you asked me to identify this, I couldn't identify this with Cher. Maybe because of the sequins, I would go to Bob Mackie. And I like Geneva. This is not
but I like Geneva too, but you're right. In addition to the, like, not a hint of Lindsey Graham, it's like, I liked this.
Yeah.
And I agree about, I like understand the critique about the hair, but I also think this hair looks amazing.
But that's not, that's not send somebody home bad.
No, I don't think
like,
so.
I was so confident. I was like, oh, okay, so she's going to be. Yeah, okay, no, Megami. This, that is identifiably Cher.
Yes.
Like a mile away.
100%. One of the critiques, though, that I didn't agree with on the Mhi'ya one, though, was the hair. They were like, you should have had bigger hair. And I was like, Cher had such close to her head hair for so much of her career.
It's good.
This was beautiful.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, and then that keeps happening, and it's like, stop it. Okay. The fact that she picked the doll, and I already dropped the Will and Grace, but it's like that episode.
Because he gets a seat for her at a restaurant,
at the restaurant
right?
table, in the back, so she won't be gawked at.
Yeah.
It's like a top 5 episode.
So good.
And the fact that Amanda specifically looks like a doll.
It's amazing. It looks fantastic. Yeah.
Let your bad makeup work for you.
Sure. Okay, but she
I
know. She improved so much. Her makeup in the Weekend Update thing was very good. This makeup is very good. She's widened her eyes out.
Well, she's also doing this thing where she's just drawing a line around the eyeshadow.
A circle of lipstick around my mouth. No, I think she's doing better with the makeup. And so that's why, again, when Plain Jane just comes for her in the workroom, I'm like, bitch, what more do you want? This was fantastic.
It really, I think I needed the reference photo. No, well, I wouldn't have guessed this was Cher.
Not Cher specifically,
knowing that it's a Cher theme, I would have conjured that.
I love that she was like, we don't know what color it was, so this is what I chose.
Picked the right colors. Pick the right colors. Because it's retro, but it doesn't feel vintage. It feels fresh.
Sure.
Like it feels... Ross was on fire tonight.
Ross was kind of on fire. Again, amazing. The headdress. The stripes.
And it's like Cruella de Vil.
It's really good.
It's also like old Hollywood, like Gloria Swanson.
Yeah. And that impersonation was great.
This was really good.
It looks good, yeah.
It is giving me Evil Queen a little bit more than it's giving me Cher, but...
Well, it's like it's not actually a nude illusion, it's that stupid nude fabric. If it was just sheer, it would be better.
I wish the gold... I think if the gold was in it...
If it popped a little more.
Well, because it's like, you could see in the source picture, it's sort of like outlined in gold embroidery.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a Bob Mackie standard. It's sort of the way that like Disney characters are outlined in the colors and not just a solid black line.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I think could have really, really made it.
Yeah.
But it was very good.
It looked beautiful on her too.
This
though, unreal. Her too, though, I think she's going to run into the same thing as Q, where it's like everything is like the literal top.
She has a wild card quality.
I agree with that.
And I think that it'll keep us on our toes.
Well, we're also not getting a lot of reaction shots of her being pissed that she's safe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I'll give Q credit. A lot of that is editing.
Yeah, of course.
Like, we're not getting the talking heads. Yeah. This was good,
This too, fantastic.
This was good.
And you're right. I was like waiting for her to take the thing off, and then she did, and it was even better. So good.
And the afro.
Yeah. Beautiful.
she's giving me Mother Hen, like Grand Dame.
I think if she makes it long enough, she's going to be Miss Congeniality. That's it.
We're done.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I had covered everything. Yeah. All in all, it was a good episode, and especially, I think you're right. I think that I think for me being so well versed in SNL made this feel lame in a way that I think for other people it was just pleasant. Sure. It was just sort of like, oh, ha ha ha. So, and also,
what are you gonna do?
Not for nothing, but I'm gonna call it now. The last of the like current greats have left SNL, and they are properly in a rebuilding year right now. Yeah. And interesting things are happening. Like,
except for Keenan.
That goes with
love.
Oh my God, he has a book now, and I'm like,
yeah, because I saw a clip of him from being on Seth.
But it's like the female leads are Heidi Gardner and Ego Odom. And Punky is finally starting to pop.
Yay!
She pulled a fast one in this Jacob Elordi episode. Laid me out. I'll go ahead and tell you, and then we can go watch it because it was good. He was like at a like meeting for addicts, but he goes to the wrong meeting. It's like women helping women.
Oh.
But he's there for his like drinking problem, and he's doing well with his sobriety, but it makes him want to have sex really bad. So that all of the women are trying to get him.
Yeah.
And there's just one scene towards the end where they get to Punky, and she's pulled her top entirely down, and she just has these like 2 big jugs and this like lacy bra, and she's just like, oh, oops. And it killed. It was so funny, especially coming from her. Yeah. So if you don't watch SNL, I don't know.
Don't start now. I don't want to hear it.
We're gonna cut me off. Okay.